All right. Oh, everyone. Going to do. I'm either going to work on this the rest of the time or we're going to start something new. But whatever the case, I'm definitely going to finish this piece today. I don't know how long it will take me, but shouldn't be too long. It shouldn't be too long. No matter what, I'm going to get this done today, I think. And then if I have some extra time, we'll probably start something new. Maybe I'll just do a series of dinosaurs until I get tired of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs or other animals, we'll see. Without any more delay, welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm your host, Isaac MCCanary. I'm on the wrong. Oh boy, I almost broke everything. Was on the wrong thing. There we go. There we go. And I started this about 2 weeks ago. Now I just need to focus on a couple of different areas. For starters, I need to finish this hand. I'm focused more on kind of like filling stuff out. Almost like etching it at this point. Because yeah, this piece is almost finished, and honestly, like, I'm noticing some stuff that I definitely want to focus on with it, where I'm like, okay, just focus on. Again, I think one of the things I picked up on last time was I was using too much. I was still using too much of a fine tip brush, and I just need to start texturing it now. A little bit at a time. I'm going to try to focus a little bit more on getting it just more paled, I guess. As well as doing more layers, because I think that's something I've noticed is I just need to do more layers. More layers, more layers, more layers. More dots, more dots, more dots. Stop dots. Whatever you do, do not stand in the middle. I am excited for a couple of things. I think that once this is done, really it doesn't matter what I do next. I just need to do something else next. And I'm excited for whatever that something else is, because I will say, I feel like I've done some good work with this, honestly. Some of my best. Certainly. If I can focus on something else soon, it would be nice. I have still the habit of not wanting to work on any given piece more than like a week or two tops, let's be honest. Just don't like feel like I'm whenever I do that, I slowly am like grinding my brain into dust. Now here's a question. Where the remembered using, maybe it's this one? Maybe it was this one. Was this one? Yes, it was this one. Maybe? Doesn't feel like it. Well, this feels right and incorrect at the same time. That's too big. Huh, I wonder if it reset it somehow. It definitely didn't mean to if it did. I think originally I had this on this like pen style. Where I could get out little bits of it. Really the goal at this point, just focus on the areas I need to get more consistent texturing across the board. Because what I'm using this eraser for is to help kind of flatten things out a little bit. Hopefully. Hopefully, here's hoping. We'll say one of the difficulties of Ceratopsid is it's kind of got a lot of weird... The head in particular has got a lot of weird bits to it. Takes a lot to get it to do exactly what you want it to. Darker. Eat out that. That for up a little bit. Switch this over to the really want to make sure you get the there we go. Yeah, that's good. Same with up here. I'm gonna have to fix that foot a little bit, I think. More like that, maybe. Go to the softer one. Take that out. And then after this, I don't know. I either do another dinosaur or I work on a topic I haven't worked too much on in a while. Maybe I work a little bit more on my robots. We'll see. We'll see. Could go either way for me right now. I could go either way, do either which way. No concern. But at the very least, I definitely feel very confident in my current projects. I also feel very good that I can get a project done. I say as I'm sitting on a project that I've been working on for almost 3 months now, but that wasn't completely my fault. It's only been 3 months because a lot of shit happened. Hey, neither here nor there. No excuses otherwise. Just gotta work on it. That up a little bit. What I want to do is really get this shaping down. Get the shaping here as well. Up a little. That's kind of the tough part for me right now, is getting that all to look correct. And not having it all blend in too much, because that's something that I'm trying to really establish here, is that where the ceratopsid begins and the raptor ends. Otherwise, this is a big mess. Big mess of dinosaurs. You know me, I have no problem with a big mess of dinosaurs. I would never have a problem with a big mess of dinosaurs. Would never be the case. There. Ooh, I like the way that feather tail is coming out now. I see what I can do with it. I have an idea of what I can do with it anyway. There we go. I still can't believe that this fossil has been found twice. Honestly, like, to be honest, it's twice this fossil has been discovered, and it still is incredible to me that not once but twice did something ordain to have two of these bastards walked together. Almost guarantee. Well, I was about to actually eat my words there. I was like, I could almost guarantee this wasn't happen for us. And I'm like, literally, Pompeii exists. What am I talking about? And I believe in Pompeii. Didn't they find the inappropriate one? So there are worse ways to be fossilized. This is one of the best. Be fair, he probably saw it explode and went, well, that or he was just really into it. Maybe he was just really into it. Pompeii, that is. And essentially, I'm just gonna keep working at this until I've got a good bit of production to it. Which is, to me, kind of like really sells me on Fresco that honestly I was able to accomplish this so authentically. Fresco, I will give Fresco this. I'm not the biggest. I don't always speak the biggest praises of Adobe. I know you're out there listening. I don't. But Fresco is good. You did a good job with Fresco. I must say. Fresco came out pretty good. I haven't had really any issues with it, and it does have a pretty good suite, honestly, of tools, and it does a good job just being a drawing program. Blood, eat blood, eat blood. What's funny is this design I've done with the head of the Velociraptor actually kind of makes it difficult to do anything with that, but I will endeavor to do something. There we go. There we go. I will say this raptor probably has one of the best constructed heads I've done. For me, my construction, the construction of the fossil is different. The construction of the fossil is different. Okay, I'm not noteworthy from anything I know. Not that it isn't noteworthy. I just don't know. I just don't know if it has something noteworthy about it. Not a clue. All I know is that this fossil was found. When was this fossil found? I should know that. Oh, my bad. I always thought this was 1971. 1971. Goddamn good age. It's not. It's an old one. It's an old one. Peanuts. Where are the dinosaur peanuts? No. We don't know. We haven't found one yet. We haven't found one yet, Silos. You dirty boy. At least I haven't. I don't know anybody who has. I haven't. As far as I know, we haven't discovered it. I actually don't know if we found any of the genitalia or gonads. It's the only soft tissue don't preserve well, buddy. I'm sorry. As far as I know. As far as I know we found a heart, a couple of internal organs, but I mean, it's not impossible. It's not possible. I don't know. Probably a Google search will warrant you something, but I don't know what, and I don't know if I want that on my. Well, no, I don't have any shame in my history, so it ain't about whether or not I want that on my conscious of history. I don't give a shit about that, but I just don't know what that would give. I'm assuming not. I'm assuming there have not, and if anything else that you could find would all just be like Onion articles and jokes, right? Like it'd have to be a bunch of inappropriate jokes. Not to say that there probably isn't research into dinosaur reproduction, like science. We study everything. I had to do it somehow. No, there's studies out there. That's not why you want to know, you dirty boy. Dirty scientist hippies. Quote Mr. Zafrank. Dirty science hippies. Dirty, dirty science hippies. They say it's always for research, but they never say why they're researching. Well, actually, they usually do. How are you, Silos? Almost done with this, though I do think it will take me the rest of my time. Like, I'm just going to work on building and developing this piece, and then whatever it is by the end of it, I should have it finished, but I don't think I'll work on anything else today. It'll probably take me the rest of the time. I want to do that, and then that I want all one consistent color, and then this. I'm going to see what I can do with this wing. It's a little bit of a void. It's a little bit of a void right now. You're gonna blow up some bugs. Well, as long as they're attacking a planet, I can accept that. If they're attacking a cake, probably fair. Ants can go to hell. Got ants? Got ants, give them hell. They don't have democratic vows. Give them hell. I do think there was an update to because I was having some issues actually. There was a driver update for NVIDIA recently, and it definitely has helped a lot of my performance. I've been having some performance issues with heck divers, but a lot of people have reported performance issues, so it's not just me, honestly. A lot of people are very upset that they were like having performance issues, and I'm like sitting here like, I mean, it's annoying, but welcome to my life. Welcome to what I have to deal with, and yours is probably only running at 40 or 60 FPS instead of 100 or 200. Ugh. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't mind having a computer that could run a game at like 100 plus frames, but I don't need it yet. I don't need it. Now, granted, I will grant this that I have gotten so used to 60 to 30 that as soon as it drops below 30, it's getting pretty rough for me to play literally anything. And I used to swear, like, I grew up on games that ran at 30 FPS. So, oh, nice. But yeah, I used to run games, play games at 20 to 30 FPS, and it was fine. You liked it. And you liked it. But I will admit, it's pretty rough to try to do that now. It is definitely noticeable. Your console's old enough, or your computer is old enough now that modern games run 30. Yeah. Yep. Like I could still Heck Divers fluctuates between 60 and about 20 for me, depending on what's going on screen, which I think is totally fair. And like, yeah, I do think that there's a bit of a dual problem of people expecting too much and also developers getting a little bit lackadaisical. Well, not even lackadaisical. Drivers can be a problem too. My computer drivers fuck with like Premiere every single time I have a driver update with with my graphics card, and Premiere just hates it. Like I opened Premiere the other day and it was like not wanting to run properly, and I'm like, all I did was update my drivers. What the hell? So I think it's also a bit of a driver compatibility issue. I don't know what's going on. Games are in a really weird spot right now because I think like on one hand, I get it. I get it. Better games are going to need better hardware. The if they want to push what is possible with computers and with games, you have to push that tech harder. But it is in a bit of an awkward spot where at least the nice thing about computers in reality is you should be able to temper an experience to still be able to be playable. And it does feel like we're in a bit of an awkward spot where modern hardware hardware that's still considered modern is still actually becoming a little bit weak for what is coming out, which is honestly like what it was like when I was in like elementary school. I feel like that is what a lot of games were like. There were plenty of games to play, but your modern system did not just have the hardware to run most of them. But back then, there was much less hardware to choose from. Now, gaming hardware is standard, and the standard gaming hardware is still kind of falling behind, which is odd. I think that's an odd thing, and I don't know if that's an industry problem, a hardware problem, or another problem entirely. So, it definitely is awkward, to say the least. It's things like Monster Hunter Wild. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit harder on my computer. Okay. Helldivers was already kind of there for me. I have a combination of an older GPU that probably just is getting older. And yeah, what the fuck are impalers? Oh my god, has it been that long since you played? Boy, you're in for a treat. They're the new long range unit for the bugs. Wow, you need to watch me play more, you know this. Nah. Um they're just a kind of tankier unit. They're essentially bug artillery aside from the bug artillery. They are a unit that is a medium to long range unit. Well, I'm going to call them medium range because they're not long range, they're not close range, but a medium range unit that sticks a bunch of tentacles in the ground. Tentacles come out of the ground around you and fuck you up. Wow. I mean, fair enough. If you're not available, I get you. I get it. I'm a busy boy. I do what I gotta do. Trust me. I wish I could, like, I wish in some ways I could, like, have every evening more open, but I can't. Both for what I do and also just because I eventually need to give myself my own time sometime. Fortunately, I'm a little miffed that I couldn't get more of my friend group into heck divers, but it's fine. See how long Delta Force goes to. I'm enjoying it, but I kind of see that James might and enjoy it as like a little bit of a fad play right now, but we haven't tried the extraction mode, and I think we played some of the battlefield mode, and it's like a fun little distraction, but I think he's pretty dead set on as soon as it starts feeling like the meta is just getting hard locked, he might not be interested because people are gonna just play that meta really, 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 really hard. I can also tell that I'm one of the few I'm just the Battlefield guy. Like, I've played a lot of Battlefield, so I will always be down to play Battlefield, but Battlefield isn't for everyone. I get that. I have played a lot of it, though. And it makes me sad because Battlefield is, like, one of those weird... I got kind of really weird good at it, so I'm just like, man, if I could stream a Battlefield game consistently, I'd probably be a like contributing member of that community because Battlefield games are something I grew up with and something I'm pretty good at. They love you. Yeah, I remember BattleBit. We tried a little bit of BattleBit. I thought we were actually going to do more BattleBit, but then I didn't have the time and it kind of fell off. And then I was like thinking about it again recently and I looked at it and not too many savory things being said about it now. And I'm like, oh no. So I don't know. Unless it's just, people being salty, I get the impression that it's kind of past its time, which is sad because it was super popular. It was super popular. This is why I'm kind of like uncomfortable with this like fad gaming that's going on right now, where people will hook onto a game and it will like consume the social consciousness for about like at most like 2 months and then just disappear regardless of how much I or anyone actually enjoys it. Like, people will just move on. It's very... I don't like it. And then people will do the dumb, shitty thing like call a game dead, and it's like, who cares? That's my contribution to that conversation. Who gives a shit if a game is dead? We did it. We did it, chat. We ruined gaming. I mean, that's what I'm here to, like, kind of bring to the forethought, I hope, of collective consciousness that, if it feels like streaming and stuff like that have killed a lot of things about experiencing a game and stuff, I always want to make it clear that, like, I want to do what I want to study, investigate, or have an interest in. It does not concern me whether or not game is dead or not. Because a community will still always love a piece of media, regardless of how big that community is. And that's just a fact. But that is also true, which is why I try to, like, make it a fair point that it's like, I don't want to just trend chase. I feel like everybody in the industry at this point is in agreement that they don't want to trend chase, and the best thing to do is focus on building the audience and then just do what you enjoy, because if you trend chase, you're just gonna hate yourself. You're just gonna hate yourself. Because then you're not making things that you want to make, you're not doing things you want to do, you're doing it because of the success it'll bring, not because it's something you actually want to do. The ideal is both of those hook up, but I've always maintained I'd rather do something I want to do than just do what works. Because doing what works at the cost of doing something I actually want to do is never worth it. If they both coincide, great. But I would rather one I would rather be doing something I want to do than just doing something that is guaranteed to succeed, because it's just, I'm not going to enjoy it. Just not going to enjoy it. And I'd rather you know, with how I'm handling VODs, with how I'm handling everything with the channel, and how I'm presenting the channel, it's always been more about trying to make something that people can come back to. Anyways, like it's always been about that for me. You know, I'm more concerned with making sure what I want, what people can engage with, they should theoretically be able to engage with whatever they want. People are going to engage with anything I make now in the next 5 to 8 years, and it should be relevant because it's something you could watch and engage with, and not because it's something that happened in the moment. Genuine. Maybe again, this is the wrong platform for that, but I am kind of shooting a bit of a needle's eye by trying to hit a little bit of both, because I found a consistent way to make things. That's important. Is I found a consistent way to make things the way I want to make them, which is a pretty tough thing to do. Like, that's not easy. Difficult to find that in anything for anyone. So yeah, and I mean that's super like, I don't know, eh. That's why I think if I ever do want to like get into serious game dev, I would always be interested in trying to undertake a multiplayer endeavor, but I would start and probably predominantly do single player games, because also multiplayer games are a bit of a kind of like a fallacy almost, I feel like they have a severe problem of, once they have run their course, there is a certain amount of difficulty of upkeep that is not very good for themselves, which means that after a certain point, every multiplayer game will no longer be playable for the most part, because no community will upkeep it. Well, not no community, but very few communities will upkeep it. And I think that still is only partly true. That's still only partly true. Mainly because, I don't know, there are examples of the exception, and in reality, yeah, if a game can be preserved, it will, and it should be by the by those who of its community that want to preserve it, so that way they themselves can continue to play it and share it with others. That said, there is a bit of an awkwardness that even I've run into with some times where there this happened actually when I was playing Of all games, of all fucking games, it happened when I was playing Dusk. I didn't know what to make of it. I continued playing, I ignored it for the day, but it did stick with me enough to bother me that the community, that somebody in the community would be doing this, that, you know, it's damaging to the reputation of the game almost, where I can't believe somebody was actually doing this. But he was apparently going from stream to stream, i.e. me, because I was the only one streaming, where he was trying to goad me into playing PvP, and then was trying to be like, the main reason he was asking was to judge whether or not I was worthy, and it's like, no, thank you, no, anyone should be allowed to play any game if they enjoy playing it. And definitely not I'm gonna not play somebody who has probably lived and breathed that game in such a specific way. Because all you're asking to do essentially there is be like one of two things. Either just dunk on somebody who's just trying to enjoy a game for the sake of enjoying it, or get dunked on by someone, which you're not going to enjoy. Hot take. And I'm not saying I would have dunked on that guy. That's the point. Uh-oh. Okay, no, we're good. Sorry, I thought I saw something. I was like, oh, what happens in the stream? Like, hooray take. Yeah, like, he probably would have kicked my ass, and it would have been like, cool. Like, that's not fun for me. I don't think that would have been very good viewing content and have his ego fucking, you know, waxed for kicking the ass of a guy who just was trying to enjoy a game that he thought was fun and cool. Like, I've never understood that. Like, cool. You enjoy the game more than I do, and now you have ruined the experience. And I bring that up because I get in reference to multiplayer games of, I get it. I get it. I've played a lot of multiplayer games myself. You get good at a multiplayer game, or you want to play it against people. But when the community starts disappearing, the only people playing are people who are equal to or better than you. That's what a community of multiplayer turns into. And how do you design a multiplayer game to sustain that? Can't sustain a matchmaking multiplayer for long enough, because eventually your community is going to depreciate. And you can't just do open matchmaking you can't just do open matches, because after a certain point, the people who are getting really fucking good at your game are just gonna not make it accessible for people who are just starting the game, who are just enjoying it to enjoy it. So, yeah, you always need more people, and that's unsustainable and just kind of unfortunate. And is unfortunate for a lot of games that would otherwise be good because they are multiplayer only games. But it is a bit of a problem that I think that most of the industry just kind of ignores. It's not an easy problem to fix. It's not an easy problem to fix. I don't even know if there's a solution to it, aside from, kind of the obvious solutions that some things have adopted, which is to ignore it entirely or accept that it will happen. So if I ever made a multiplayer game, I don't know how I would reconcile it. I really don't. Maybe I would go. I always have liked the idea of going, since the design idea I've always had has been kind of Chrome Hounds inspired, to go kind of somewhere in between Chrome Hounds and Guns of Icarus. Guns of Icarus actually had a PvE mode that I really, really liked that was very similar to Helldivers and Chrome Hounds. And just have that, and then do the Chrome Hounds thing of PvP is optional because it can happen. Maybe have a period of time to understand that, let's say, a peak period of the game's lifespan where the game is playable with the expectation that PvP will be happening commonly, but is still technically optional, and also have the option of PvE. So that way, you can have new players who can come in and play the game who don't want to play the PvP. There are people who are going to want to not play the PvP of your game sometimes. I'm one of them. I genuinely am. I sometimes don't want to deal with other people. But I still want to enjoy the game. I still want to play the game. Bots. It always comes down to that. Bots. Just have bot options. Just allow people to play bots. Anything. Whether it's a standing load PvE mode or bots as substitutes, you have to have something. And you have to be transparent about it. Because people have already started to God, this is... Here, I'm just gonna make sure. Sorry. My freaking stream is... Okay, good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. I just thought I saw something and it kept on stressing me out, so I have to change it. People are complaining that, you know, now games are padding their lobbies with bots, which I don't agree with either. Yeah, I like, don't pad it with bots. Be transparent. Be transparent about it. Just be like, bot modes. Here are the bot modes. These are the bots. You play as bots. So, problem with that is oftentimes the mechanics between PvE and PvP differ a lot, which is fair. Chrome Hounds was an interesting exception in that the PvE versus PvP was mainly just the mechanics of how people act. But because that game was particularly constrained, there wasn't, like, as far as I knew, any tech or anything with the Hounds. So, like, yeah, like, you're not wrong, and you'll never make bots that will play like people. You have to, yes, I totally agree. You'll never have bots that'll play like people, but you always still have to do something. You have to do something for a multiplayer game. Because a multiplayer game dies as soon as its population falls to below 0. That's not a number. That's not a number. Low 0 is not a number. So yeah. It is a... I feel like it is the kind of problem that feels like it should be like a resolved problem, right? Like it's a problem that for no intents and purposes should be extant. Like, if anything, games should be prepared for when their games lose population density. Like, that's normal. That's acceptable. And then also the flip side of, you know, the community social consciousness of thinking that's unacceptable is like, no. If you need a game to be popular to keep playing it, then you are playing it for the wrong reasons. Hot take. Another hot take. Wow. Sorry. I don't play a game because it's popular. Quite the contrary. Oftentimes, I will specifically play a game because it's unpopular. And most do need people. You are correct. They need people. Servers need money to keep running. Electric bills ain't cheap. Especially on a server, I bet. And again, this is all speculative from the understanding that this is not an easy, like, oh, I know the answer. Oh, I know what'll fix everything. No, I don't fucking know shit. I don't know shit. It's a tough philosophical situation when it comes to designing a series of games that continue to grow in such a way that it is both unsustainable, but also it's unpractical, but it's not. It's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. Effect. Effect. What video games will become. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or both. I mean, like, this is what's always bugged me is like I get Titanfall wanting to be a multiplayer only game, but in reality, it having a single player mode does mean that you could still theoretically play Titanfall 2 even if you can't play what Titanfall 2 was meant to be played as. But it's still there. Like you still can experience a portion of the experience. And it's still replayable and valuable. It doesn't matter how, alive the community was. Should always have like an offline or an expectation that people won't, because there was a time where even if a game was made to be multiplayer, they understood that maybe portions of their user base just wouldn't have access to the internet or anyone or a LAN group to be able to play with or against. So you still had to give the option to be able to even run the experience, if not rudimentary, at least palatably. So, I don't know. It's definitely not an impossible. It's not impossible to solve. Definitely not a problem that's impossible to solve. I do think it's a solvable problem with multiple solutions, even. So, and mind you, Silos, I am somebody who would want to design a game with social, even parasocial mechanics because I'm a freak. I love Dark Souls messages. I think that's a concept that I would like in more games. And I love the concept of found footage so much that every now and then I entertain the mechanisms for what it would take to make kind of an iteration of somewhere between a Dark Souls game and something like uh that game that Sean and I played a bunch. What's wrong with me? One where you take videos. Why can't I think of what it's called? Why can't I think of the name of this video game? What is the name of this game? Fuck. Boy, that's gonna hurt me. Oh, I don't do that. Almost deleted a shelf. I don't want to do that. Boy, it's. Man, it was also that long ago since I guess we haven't played it for a few months. Content warning. I want to do something like that where I would love the idea of a game with found footage in it where it has the bloodstains from Dark Souls, but they're cassettes left by players. And if you pick one up, you get to watch the last 20 seconds of a recording before they died, either from the perspective or something. I love the idea of stuff like that. I was shitballing with Sean because I like to shitball about game design of a entire kind of mechanic that, having been so in love with the way that Tunic encourages the player to genuinely take notes, a game where you actively take notes in engine, and then if you die, you don't lose the page for yourself, but a random page of your notebook gets left at the place where you die, and people can pick up your notes. The only downside is I know that's asking for people to BM, so I know that theoretically I could never do that, because even though it is a horror game, and I even was like, I kind of accept that if this was a concept that people would BM in, it would at least be thematic to horror, because the whole idea of the notebook would be what people utilize to write in for both their own notes and for their own security and sanity. And of course, a lot of people would just write in a bunch of bad things and draw a bunch of porn in there because people are awful. Then you just find notes of a bunch of bad things and porn. And it's like, well, there's humanity's horror at a face to everything. And it's like, well, you don't need to make a video game about that. So fair enough. But I still like the idea, right? I like the idea of, I would like to believe that if you made something like that well enough, that people would buy into it. But the goal is, how do you get people to buy in? Because you can't make them. You can't make them. That's the problem. You can't make anyone do anything. And as soon as you try to make someone do something, they're absolutely not going to do it. Case in point, this motherfucker here. Sitting right here. Shaking his head like a dumbass. You know? Like, you have to encourage someone to do something with the understanding that as soon as you tell them to, they ain't gonna do it. Not. Not gonna do it. And the only way that things like, things like Dark Souls can get away with a message system like that is it is heavily curated. Can't, and still people put disgusting messages. Like, and they're great. I love them. You're gonna find them funny forever, but you're not gonna avoid that. People have awful senses of humor, no matter what. It's gonna be that way. So, on one hand, the smart thing would be to embrace it, but it's like, then I run into a whole entire kettle of fish of, well, if your game's willing to do that, you must support the things in there, even though the whole idea would be like, this is not about supporting the awful things people would write, and if anything brings light to how as soon as people can have anonymity, they're gonna just do awful things, and that's not a good thing. So I'd have to make an entire theme or a portion of the game highlighting that, and how it's not a good thing that people would do that, or how it's fascinating that people would do that, at least. But that requires a lot of heavy lifting and writing on our part to essentially allow people to be awful, which still isn't necessarily okay. So thanks, people. You ruined a cool idea that I would like to someday believe could be done, but I know I can't trust you. You can't trust people with anything. There we go. The hardest part of this picture for me are these wings. These wings are kind of like being a bit of a bear. I'm also trying my best to really like highlight the legs from each other, which is really difficult. Do that. Unrelated news, because I'm thinking about it, because I just finished the first part of the longest book I probably am ever going to read, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to read a book longer than it, unless I decide to read the Bible someday. Someday. Uh, The Count of Monte Cristo. I actually read it in high school, and I don't. I remember it fondly. But I will admit I don't remember if I actually enjoyed reading it first time I read it. Though I definitely found it captivating. I definitely know that much. It left an impression on me of some kind, but I don't remember necessarily if at the time I actually enjoyed it all that much. Um, but I'm rereading it, and holy shit, The Count of the Big Sandwich is really good, really, really, really good book. Liking it so goddamn much. The Count of the Big Sandwich is, for all intents and purposes, for me, like one of the first modern pieces of literature, if that makes sense. Like, it's still classical literature, but it's just not frustrating like a lot of classic literature is, at least to me. Like, I haven't read that much now that I admit it, but I always like had this kind of feeling, a little bit of a chip on my shoulder when it comes to classical literature, of it being very stuffy. It's very stuffy, kind of maybe not necessarily primitive, but certainly like lacking a certain amount of, I don't know. It's dense. Oftentimes, classic literature can be kind of dense. Now that I think about it, though, I did read The Heart of Darkness, which is pretty old too. That was 1899, so no, that's still, yeah. I because the Count of Monte Cristo was 1844. I think is when it was published. Yes. 1844 is when the Count of Monte Cristo was published, and it's really good. It's really, really, really good. And that to me is like an old book. I would say it's the oldest book, but I both have and will probably actually reread Frankenstein, because that book is even older than The Count of Monte Cristo, which I did not know. Um, and I remembered liking it quite a bit too. So maybe I just have a bad relationship with classic literature. Need to give it a shot. I do think I hear that all the Universal monster stories are really, really good, but I do think that Frankenstein and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are both really, really, really good. Make that bumpier. We'll make some imperfections there. Take some chunks out of some stuff. This center area becomes a mess. It's just so much stuff. I keep on trying to just get it homogenized, and it doesn't want to cooperate. Certainly doesn't like to cooperate, that's for damn sure. Tail a little bit more. The tail's coming along nicely. I like that. There we go. That. Get some of this. Much better. Much better. Funny. I don't know. Just have a feeling this thing along quite nicely. I just have to do a couple more layers of some things. Pretty much good render-wise. I mean, like, this technique I've been using is fairly good for just exactly what I'm using it for. And it helps cover up some of that other bit. And this is something that I've tried to keep much more in mind when it comes to like shapes and stuff. Is you get like a wide enough, essentially like a wide enough brush, just single pass at any given thing. Hey, my Deltadromius. Hey, my Deltadromius. God, I love this weird song. I don't know how I found it. It just appeared on my feed one day. Thank God that it did. Oh. I'm gonna add some stripes to that. Stripey. I don't know when I found this mix either, but it cracks me up, man. So good. Just kind of a little bit more. Bit at a time, so that way it can get a little bit more density in the right spots, I guess. Now it just lacks some of that density. There we go. This is where I run into a bit of a situation, but I think this. And a little bit darker. Lighter. Like that. That. This wing is being such a pain in my butt. Being a pain in my ass. Pain in my ass, pain in my dick. That's what it be. Hmm. Tried to give it more hard lines, but it just doesn't seem to be working for me, is the problem. For me, anyways, it doesn't seem to be working. It bugs me. Something like that. I don't wonder. Ooh. Actually what I want to do bugs me. I just need to keep working at it. Part of the problem is trying to get this ding dang wing to work. It's in front of this freaking leg, which is a little cantankerous right now. It freaking wing. I think I just gotta let it be what it's gonna be. A mess. I'm having a tough time getting this foot into. Which is its own mess. Come on. Daisy ups a daisy. There we go. I've almost got that figured out. It's just so... I gotta get in there and work it in. Sometimes easier said than done. I've almost got it. That foot definitely is looking much better. The only thing I haven't figured out is the wing. The wing has been such a pain. A little tempted to just be like, screw it for the wing in this sense and just be like, hard line. But no. Trying to at least be a little bit careful with it still. At least trying. I'm at least trying to make it work. Get rid of that. part of the struggle with this is just how feathers don't play nice with anything. They don't play nice with me. It's funny, I really do enjoy drawing feathers when I can actually get them to work. But once I have to, like, if I cannot get feathers to cooperate, they're the fucking pits, man. They're the worst. Never want to cooperate. They never want to go where you want them to. They're the worst. Sometimes you kind of just work yourself into situations like this where you just have to make the feathers do what they're gonna do, even if it doesn't always make sense. Put them somewhere. Gotta go somewhere. Honestly, I just gotta keep working them in. I'll get there. Gotta remember they've got kind of a center part. That's what system with them. Feathers are just really bad scales. Feathers are just really, really, really shitty scales. They learned that allowed birds to fly, but they are shitty scales. There we go, finally. That wing looks better. That looks better. That's about the best I'm probably going to get this wing to look. Ugh. Part of the reason why I yuck is it's just so much work just for that. For okay. It's gonna be okay. But I definitely like how I've got the rest of it so far. Like kind of darker black line there. It's kind of something bigger. There we go. this a little bit. God, I've really, really, really started enjoying texturing. I feel like so much more, and my texturing has gotten so much better. There we go. Oops. The hard round variable. Yes. That looks good. That looks good. Yeah, that fantail looks much better. This. So this is something I'm trying to be better about, and I think that is how I want to handle it. Yes. Like that. I'll come back and you lighten it. Yeah, something like that. Like how round I've made some of those feathers. Oh, it's so close to being done. Yeah, I don't think I'll start something else tonight, but I will get this done, definitely. I will definitely get this done, at least. Heck yeah. Back to this. That out of there. Oh! Whoa! So close. So close. You just zoom in. You like this kind of eraser I found that does land somewhere in between, like, a more pressure sensitive but a harder edged eraser. Allows me to do more. Gives me a little bit more precision in some ways too. That's very, 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 very nice. Also, as I cannot overstate enough, this drawing tablet has been a lifesaver. It really has been. God knows I would not still be doing this or not for it. A huge appreciation to the drawing tablet that I have had since high school. It came in clutch and saved my ass at the last second. I have to appreciate it too. I do. 100%. I appreciate it 100%. Now go back. Back, as I've said before, back into your box. One of the troubles of this piece is the kind of layering I have going on here is the wing overlays the leg, which overlays the body. So much layering. Makes it very, very difficult to ease out the different parts of whom. They're all kind of different areas. There we go. Like up here, maybe? More like that, maybe? There's a lot of layering, that I have to do. Layering and multi-layering. Very difficult. Oh, I don't know what this brush is doing, but it's... Huh. I just saw it. That was so weird. I saw the Matrix. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know how this... I don't know how this brush exactly works. But there's like... If I get it at the... Yeah, you see it? There's like almost a squaring. I don't know how it's doing that. I don't know how or why it's doing that. I think that is working as intended, but it's very weird. It's almost like this was... It's almost like it's acting like there's like something underneath it. Or maybe I'm going crazy. I don't know. Maybe you can't see that. There we go. Ooh, that claw hand going into the Protoceratops looks really, really good. And I've almost got that foot figured out. Almost got that freaking foot figured out, man. It certainly is doing more work now than it was before. There we go. Those as deep as I can. Yeah, that looks much better. That looks much better, I think. That's also good news. Hooray! Yay! Lucky. That's all that matters. God damn, though. I do say god damn, though. I think part of the reason why I'm so just so happy with this piece is this. If I would have seen this in a dinosaur book, I would have been like, fuck yeah. I'm making the art I grew up with. That's really what makes me happy about it, is like I'm actually making the art that I grew up with. I am. This is art that I grew up with. This is this would have been in a dinosaur book when I was growing up. I hope this because somebody, adult or child out there, sees this and is like, whoa. Like, yeah, definitely. To see what'll happen because of the way that I have this set up. What if I put it on a different color? Like, what if I put it like it's in a journal? So we're gonna get a discolored yellow. So does this hurt the eyes? Does it just look like piss? This probably just looks like piss. Let me try this actually. I like the green. I just want to give it a little bit more coloration, just something. I might do it on a different color. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you. The dinosaur belongs inside of a book. I'll hide this for now. I don't know if I'll do a color, but eh. Uh-oh. First off, nope. Like I said, I don't think I'll color this. I think I just want it to be like a graphite piece, essentially. And I mean, I definitely... There's a couple graphite drawings in that one book that I was looking at that, like... I don't know. I saw them then, and I was like, man, those are some cool drawings. So they stuck well enough in my brain to draw this. Glad I did. This is something I've always liked about dinosaurs in general. They're just very inspiring. Just in general, like I can't help but think of a dinosaur and immediately be like, how what a strange, bizarre thing to even exist. Creatures that were as big as they are, as old as they are. Existed long before we did and disappeared only to leave a group of very funny looking creatures that we occasionally eat. Like, how'd that happen? The only vertebrates with powered flight aside from bats. Around. That. That. Ugh. Ugh. Just stretching. It hasn't even been that long. It's only been about 2 hours. It's only been about 2 hours, which isn't too bad. Dinosaur. Dinosaur. And then after this, I mean, like, I'll either do some character design, maybe I'll do another dinosaur. I kind of have a rotation at this point. I don't know when I'll get back to Adobe Animate, but for now, I'm definitely going to be doing some just. I'm going to do drawing. For now, I'm going to do drawing. It's going to be something I'm going to pretty steadfastly focus on, is just drawing. Yeah. But get back, I will still do garlic phone. I'm just moving the day for it. I either continue doing garlic phone or I'll switch it over to animation depending on how long I want to take garlic phone. There is a chance that if I decide to stop garlic phone or take a break from it, it might just be for a while. But for now, I definitely want to leave it, like, kind of open. I'm looking at maybe moving it to Saturday. I couldn't stream this Saturday because I was busy. I was busy working on a bird, on a different bird. That's looking good. That is looking much better. And I think I've got the foot about as well defined as I'm going to get it. I thought I switched it. I mean, it got the job done. It was what I was wanting it to do anyways, so... I don't know if I'll be continuing Valheim. Like I said, I'm going to give it one more shot, but it's not on the cake for this week because, if anything, I'm like, man, I haven't been able to do Elder Ring for a second, so that will be done. Not tomorrow though. Tomorrow's are changing a little bit. No day streams during the day on Thursdays, just because I need the time, and honestly, it would be a little advantageous to me anyways to be able to have a little bit of extra time on Thursdays in general to do some other things. They're kind of anticipated happening anyways. So day streams will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Excuse me. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Those are the day streams, I think, now. And we'll see whether or not I move certain things to other certain places, but we'll see. Be seen. To be seen. This is the fun of graphite, is you get to add some, and then your next step is to remove some until it's the right amount. You keep adding and reducing until it's the right amount. Graphite is a little bit of a potter's game. A bit sculpty. Can be anyways. You don't have to do graphite this way, but I do. It's how I learned. And I will give Fresco credit. This is a pretty convincing graphite texture. Like, it feels like graphite. God damn. Looks good. Looks pretty good. On in, away. Yeah, it's weird. Oh no, it's doing it. It's just being weird. Foot. Chicken foot. Get the chicken foot in there. Like that. And then. Yeah! Get it in there. Dig that sucker in there. Really want to make it clear that he's getting in there and getting in there, man. God, I did it again. That's the second time that's happened. You know, when you work like with graphite like I do, and you go from adding some erasing, adding some erasing, there is a muscle memory where you just instinctively blow on the paper and wipe it off. That don't work here. You don't gotta do that. Oops. Really embarrassing when I do it. Not there. Yeah. There we go. Oh yeah. Gotta get in there. Get in there on those fucking feathers, man. Have to trust that they're gonna come out correct. There we go. And just dull them a little bit. Stuff like this is exciting. I feel like, oh, I don't know what I feel like. It's exciting. Getting to see this kind of stuff actually, like, develop into something is just kind of neat. Something like that. And what I need to do is go a little bit wider and just a bit more for shade. Back. I want to know who made this because it's just so dang pleasant. And it makes me think of Cambrian life. What an interesting theme, too. And you know what? I'm here for it. I stan our Cambrian ancestry. Go hug a trilobite. Go hug an anomalocaris near you. Oh. My head got popped down. I was focused. I should drink some water. Surprise hydrate bot hasn't showed up. I just noticed I hadn't drinking any water. See, look, I'm taking care of myself. There we go. Definitely want this to have some stripiness to it. Don't know how I want it to be stripy. Remember, always start light. Hmm. Close together? Oh. They're just playing. Boy, that would have been embarrassing. Hydrate bot isn't real. Neither is Hydrate Man. He can't hurt you. No, Hydrate Man is very real, and he can hurt you. He just won't. Shouldn't. Good. For a second there, I was like, is this working? I don't know if it... Want to do something more like that. Not really. Simple is best. There's no point in overcomplicating it. Damn. Yeah, I'm glad I took this. I'm glad I took this. My victory lap ended up being a little bit more than a victory lap, but it's fine. It definitely was worth doing. He's a little bit more than a victory lap, and that's fine. Sometimes that's just how it be. At the very least, it's definitely done today, no matter what. Definitely done today. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna center. Yeah, that's more like it. To take up more of this space anyways, and yeah. Or I could do something fancy, put a circle around it, but I won't. Something like that. Like that. Gotta lumpify everything, it's fine. Go wider on that. Shade to everything, just smooth it out. Go back. It is a process I really like doing. Will help get rid of some of that fuzziness and really, yeah, there we go. solidify those lines. I'm gonna try that. Now we go with this. That's closer to what I wanted, but not exactly. Just trying to define that out better. It is weird sometimes that I click that and it does not quite take. I don't know why. I think I'm getting that's about as good as I'm gonna get that wing to look. I'll try this, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. I don't know. 2 to be 5. Hmm. Feeling it. I'm feeling it. Don't want the shadow to go crazy, so I'm just gonna do something really light. Not feeling confident with it. I'm feeling something with it. I put it on its own layer. I was not feeling super great about it, but definitely wanted to try something there. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I want them to have more of like a lighter coloration. To make it still white, white with black stripe. There we go. Man, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about that, and I'm glad I did it. I was probably using this brush incorrectly because it seems to work better when you use it at a higher pixel value. Hey, Fishron! It's my favorite fossil of all time, the fighting dinosaurs. One of my. It is. It genuinely is. This is probably one of the, if not the fossil that got me into paleontology and or interested in paleontology and drawing dinosaurs and paleo art. Like it's there's some really good drawings of this. It's one of my favorite pieces of all time. How are you, Fishron? Don't listen to him, Silo. Don't listen to Silos. They're killing each other. Which is a form of lovemaking, but that's different. But I got a new drawing tablet, and this is the first thing I decided to draw with it, and holy hell. I have to say, I'm glad this is the first thing I've decided to. This was supposed to be a test, by the way. This was a test. So I guess I could say, very highly recommend this drawing tablet. You can afford an X Pen drawing display. Get one. They are certainly out of the box quite good. This one is still fairly young, so who knows, maybe I'll hate it in like 5 months, but at least get 5 months with it. I believe Tara, James's wife, has one, and she's a fantastic artist, and I don't know. The X Pen was actually recommended on by James through her, so I certainly can say that I'm getting very good value out of it. Definitely feels like I'm getting good value out of it. Hope it looks like I'm getting good value out of it. Feel like it looks like I'm getting good value out of it. And yeah, I don't know. I wanted to make a graphite drawing after seeing some paleo art in a book that Aqua sent me, filled with a couple of pieces of graphite paleo art that I had never seen before. That I don't know. I just was like, I want to do that because I otherwise largely grew up on drawing and observing graphite art. So I went, well, why not? And damn, just damn. I think it was well worth it. All I gotta say is, damn, worth it. Glad I decided to add the shadow. I was very hesitant on adding the shadow, but I needed to add something. It was bugging me. Oh, I have to add a toe. Do I have to add a toe? Will people care about that? Wanna. I don't wanna. Don't know if that's good. I don't know if that's good. Oh, sorry. Warning. Warning. Probably a little late for the warning, but warning. If I'm gonna do it any color, I should probably do it yellow for the Gobi Desert. It is kind of, well, yeah, it is kind of incredible that even back then the Gobi was a desert. I've never thought about that. Like, how serendipitous that 78, 70, 100, 70, 78. I don't know how old this fossil is. Let me see what the taphonomy of this fossil is. How old? They age dated? Surely they did. I'm guessing it was about 70 million years ago, but serendipitous that 70 million years ago, Gobi Desert was still a fucking desert. I think. I don't know if it's actually been confirmed, but oh yeah, no, either a dune collapsed or a sandstorm. So yeah, 80 million years. Yep, it's about an 80 million year old fossil. Yeah. Yep. I can't find anything on the rock content out of Wikipedia, unfortunately. Shame that Wikipedia doesn't have any information on the geological nature of a fossil. Damn. Who do they think's going to be looking at it? Still don't know if I want to add color. Like I think I like the sepia. I think I like the sepia, but I don't actually know. Can't decide. I can't decide. I think I'm gonna go with the white. I think I am gonna go with the white, but the sepia, I don't know. I like the idea of colored, like textured uh drawings, so I don't know. I was very on the fence with that. Weird. And he's doing something weird. And he's doing something very weird. Aha! I have criticisms? I think the pen just might actually be running out of batteries. That'd be silly. I've heard some complaints that the batteries on these aren't that great, and I'm sitting here like, well, I have it right next to my computer, so I could probably just literally plug it in, and it's fine. Cord's a little short. Hold on. There. Bring it to the front. There we go. It's a little better. And I had left it unplugged, so oops. You. This mouse left that. Need to isolate the fingies. Honestly, if we just keep it like that, I think I'll be happy with that. Good news is yeah, I think we get this done at it hits 10 and I go ding, we're done. Post this to all the places. You win. Using this eraser this way has been also very informative on how I should use my eraser in the future. Sure enough, it was just that it was battery. I mean, who on me for forgetting to plug it in? I did leave it unplugged for a couple whiles. For little whiles. For a girl. Hey, for a gore. Kind of just trying something with the trying something with the head pattern. Nothing complicated though. I need to keep it simple. I just need to. Something like that. There we go. I don't even know if that necessarily makes sense, but makes sense to me. That's what matters. Everybody go support that mix. It's real good. Brings a smile. Brings a smile to my eyes every time I hear it. I do say. This piece has come along quite nicely. Trying to add some amount of patterning, but all I can think of is kind of these lines, and that kind of looks silly to me. Trying to add something more, but I can't really think of anything. Simple is best. Simple is best. Yeah, that looks better. I like that. Go thicker. That a little bit. Bit. And we're gonna lighten this a little bit. A little bit more. Yeah, that soft graphite look looks really nice though. Really happy with how it's come out. Kind of like how I did my feather. There was a feather that I drew that kind of has the same consistency as that too. believe it was even either a bird or at least a dromaeosaur or at least a bird feather of some kind when I drew it too. From the Ingersoll Shale. One of the paleo environments I actually wrote a paper on in college. It's a weird place. Weird fossils. Don't know if they've dug much else out of it, but a lot of pyritized stuff, some amber. Really cool stuff. Allegedly. Entire dinosaur feathers pyritized. I'm just like, whoa, so cool. To me, that's the coolest shit. There we go. Oh, it's so cool. Extreme drowning. You're right. You're absolutely correct. Now, actually, what I'm going to do now, I need to go to... I think I need... I think you name fossils the same way that you name... Like, a fossil specimen is named the same way as, like, the naming convention of a dinosaur. So I need... I believe... When was it described? Guess it was described in 1979. 1974. Need to find a reference point, though. Why? What to say? I think this is the fossil's name. Not to be confused with the dueling dinosaurs. Thank you. Thank you. I was so worried. Oops. Want here. I'm trying to remember if this is how you would do it, so I need to go to here. Essentially, what it should be named is Lorem Ipsum. It should be named Lorem Ipsum. Switch off that. I don't know why I did that. Don't look at that, everybody. I don't know what happened there. Weird. There we go. Uh-huh. Not Lorem Ipsum. Fighting dinosaurs. And it should be the name, and then the individual or individuals who described it, and the date it was described. The first time it was described. So I want... We want... Rinchen Barsbold. If you can tell, this program was not made for this, though. Absolutely not. $74. Yes. I think that's what I want. Here. Get me the smartest. Get me the smartest font. Ah, yes. The most intelligent font of them all. Where is my Times New Roman? Where is Times New Roman? There it is. Yes, the most intellectual font of them all. What the hell kind of name is Rinchin? I wonder what the hell is your deal, buddy? Where are you from? Okay, they're Mongolian. Okay, never mind. They're not Anglican. It's not an Anglican name, so okay. No. Okay. Actually, this is gonna be stupid. If I remember correctly, I think you have to. I mean, you have to uninstall and reinstall. I think, but there's something specific. No. You need to go into. You need to go into your config files. You need to reset your config files. Don't know why it fixes it. If it's is it booting at all, or is it booting but not showing a picture, but it is making noise? Because if it's doing that, then you have to reset your config and reset your settings. I don't know why it fixes it, but it does. Huh. That I can't help you with so much. I'm sorry, Silos. Because I used to be able to boot it, but it would not show a picture. That was annoying. Yeah, we'll do there. Oh yeah, I need to. Italicize you. That way it looks nice and science. Look at how nice and sciencey that looks now. I'll actually admit. All of this? Select all. Trying to decide. Well, and then this is going to be on. This is going to take more. Actually, I need to move that one. This is something I've never gotten to work. Stop. Stop it. Stop selecting multiple. How do I stop that? Quit doing that. I hate when this happens. Open the group. Open the group. Don't open the group. Ungroup. It's so weird that that happens. I don't know what causes that. To move this. Somewhere. To move you. Let me move you. Let me move you. That. Or maybe? I don't know why. Fresco does not like moving objects. Just doesn't. I don't know what it is about it, but it really doesn't want to do it. Nudge, nudge. I want to move you. How fucking zoomed in does this have to be to move it? That much. Let's go ahead. This more like right. There we go. I'm not done. I'm just checking to see if this looks good, and it does, honestly. I like the way that looks. I think that's a good spot for that, or I can move it. Nah, I think that's the best spot for it. I think it should be overlapping some of the shades, so that way it's at least... Rebooting your PC would probably fix it. Yeah. I know that feeling, too, of being like, but I don't wanna. I've definitely had moments like that where I'm just like, I need to reboot. Or not, I need to, but like, a reboot would have fixed something, but I hadn't thought to do it. Just like, ugh, wanna. I don't wanna. Dang. I also didn't realize I was not using the right coloration this whole time. Oh well. Progress was made, that's what matters. Oopsie. Oopsie poops. Not me. Nice! Sometimes that works too. Riding or petting his favorite dinosaur? I would. But my favorite dinosaur... Actually, I don't know how tall Utahraptor... I'm pretty sure Utahraptor is taller than me, so... I could do that. He just would also immediately bite off my head, and I would still be happy. I don't know. We could tame horses. I think we could tame a Utahraptor. I would tame a Utahraptor. Die fucking trying. Utahraptor is essentially a chocobo. They're insane. We figured out dogs. We could figure out a we could figure out an 8-foot turkey. How big is Utahraptor? About 6 feet tall. They're about 6 feet tall. That's a pretty fucking big creature. Apparently, Dakota Raptor has gotten a lot of notable. Yeah, Dakota Raptor is about the same size as Utahraptor, as well as something called a kilobator. I've never heard of a kilobator. Never heard of it. But Utahraptor is my favorite dinosaur. Because it's actually the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. I feel like Mr. Crichton has talked about how the actual inspiration for the Velociraptors from Jurassic Park were the Dromaeosaurid Deinonychus, and I'm like, Deinonychus still ain't got nothing on Utahraptor. They're like 6 feet tall and 15 feet long. They're huge. They're fucking massive. Deinonychus, on the other hand, was only still, I want to say like, yeah, Deinonychus was still only about 4.5 feet tall, which is still pretty fucking big. Don't get me wrong. Deinonychus is not small. Was still not Jurassic Park tall. Because the Jurassic Park Velociraptors were like 5 feet tall, easily. And that is a Utahraptor. Or Dakota Raptor. Dakota Raptor is actually more of what the Jurassic Park Raptor is Dakota Raptor. Surprised they just called it Dakota Raptor when there is kind of a more realistic. They could have called it. Well, I guess they couldn't. It's not a genus of Velociraptor though, so they couldn't call it. I always like to call it Velociraptor Crichtoni is my fictional name for the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Is Velociraptor Crichtoni, but get it? Because Michael Crichton. Man, Sean disappointed me in not that he did something, but I've always wanted to go back and reread Andromeda Strain to see if it was worth it because I think Jurassic Park is really good. I think Jurassic Park is really good, but one of my issues with Jurassic Park is that I love Michael Crichton's writing until he he does this thing. He does a thing. In the case of Jurassic Park, it has to do with um Ian Malcolm. He's an obnoxious character, and I hate him. And he's absolutely an author insert. If he's not an author insert, he's still a shitty character. You think realism had any choice in the matter? No. As far as like Jurassic Park, no, absolutely not. Well, not partly, anyways. Once again, he says that it was inspired by the Velociraptor is more supposed to be like the Deinonychus, but either A, I have two theories. I think he said he was like nobody's gonna. Velociraptor is a cool name. Essentially, is what he said is Velociraptor is a cooler name than Deinonychus. I however, want to theorize that because many people hate dinosaur names, kind of including me, because some dinosaur names are still fucking impossible to say. Um, he just didn't know how to pronounce Deinonychus. Most people don't know how to pronounce Deinonychus. I've heard Deinonychus pronounced so many different ways. Deinonychus is spelled Deinonychus. Deinonychus? Some people would probably say. I've always said Deinonychus. Or yeah, Deinonychus. Yeah. But probably he was more afraid that nobody would know how to say the fucking thing, including himself. That's my fan theory of why the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park was actually called Velociraptor. It's because he couldn't say Deinonychus. I don't blame him. Weird fucking word. I think on that note, I just noticed it's 10:08. But I think I'm good. The leg and the wing are just that part is it's hard. It's difficult. I need to focus on wings. I need to do some practice drawing of some wings. I need to do some wing studies, I think. Kind of looking at this, I think I just overthink the wings is what it comes down to. I overthink the wings a lot. Um, but no, I think this otherwise came out great. Like I am so happy with how this came out. Came out really, really good. Oh, that is Utahraptor. Sorry, I'm looking at a size comparison of 4 different dromaeosaurs. It's 4. I can count 6 different dromaeosaurs. And he's just so cool. He's so powerful. Utahraptor is definitely like the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park without question. Like it's even the right size. It's even the right like his head's even the right shape. People say Velociraptor is small, and I'm still just like, the Velociraptor is about the size of a medium to large size dog. That's a big animal. That's not a small animal. That's a big animal. That's pretty freaking big to me. Whereas Utahraptor is like the size of a horse. We'll give it that. Utahraptor is the size of a horse. I don't know. How big is the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park? I don't actually know. We'll look this up and then I'll call it. It's kind of a weird shape because it's kind of short, but it's kind of tall. Also, it's about 4 feet tall. So it's like in between. Like in between a Utahraptor and a Deinonychus. Despite their name, Crichton heavily based Velociraptors on the larger Deinonychus, and this was carried over in the films. Yep, that's all I can find on it. I really just wanted its height in feet. Really just wanted to know how big it was. Yeah, it's about about 5 to 6 feet tall, which is about the size of a Utahraptor. Hey, my fucking my it is a little smaller than a Utahraptor. Stands about as tall and is a little shorter, like a little shorter in length than it is in height. But you can't compare it to Utahraptor. Utahraptor's a fucking unit. Utahraptor's big, man. Horse, haunt size. Big motherfucker. He's big. While one may characterize the 150 kilogram, 330 pound Jurassic Park raptors as being oversized for dromaeosaurs, they actually fell short when compared to the real deal. Oh my god. It was built like a tank. Barrel-chested brute of a raptor with a robust skeleton. Weighing over a ton. 470 kilograms or 1,036 pounds. Jesus Christ. Holy fuck, I did... Really? Surely. That must be an exaggeration. That's so big for how... Really? I mean, it's not... It ain't small. Utahraptor ain't small. Anything to go by. Utahraptor ain't small. Alright. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna start my outro. I'm gonna start closing up. I'm closing up shop, everybody. So, as everyone should know by this point, for the end of the stream, I'm gonna open up Bing Create. We're gonna generate an image together. All you guys gotta do is type in chat. Whatever chat says, I'll utilize as a reference for the prompt. Then I'll share that image before we write out. So to get us started, being in awe of Utahraptor, the big dinosaur. Actually, here we go. Why does Utahraptor, being the biggest... I'm going to consider this a part of it. Silos, don't worry. Being the biggest dromaeosaur, not just eat the other smaller dromaeosaurs. Dude, this is gonna be dumb. This is gonna be a dumb one, I think. Guys, I think this one's gonna be stupid. Alright, so stick around to the very end. I also do a bit of a closing bit. We do raid after every stream, so that way the vampires in our chat can keep watching. Because everybody else out there, make sure to go lock your doors and windows, because it's almost lunchtime for vampires. Thank you for joining, everybody. Hope you had a good time and you enjoyed the show. If you're able to join the live show, thank you for stopping by and chatting and watching. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for taking the time to go back and rewatching the VOD. We appreciate it. If you're out there and you enjoyed this and you want to see more of what we're up to, I recommend scrolling down below and following or clicking any of the links. There's a link to an Instagram, a Facebook, a Twitter, and a Discord. We post when we go live on any one of those platforms, as well as anything else that we're up to. And just generally, you can come hang out with the rest of the community there. It's a good time on the Discord. Speaking of which, a shout out to our community there and everyone who follows. You guys are a wonderful audience, and we appreciate you. If we do anything particularly entertaining or noteworthy, feel free to clip it and share it on the internet. Just make sure to also hashtag it with MCCanary or link it back to the stream so people can find more of the good stuff we do here. And as always, if you want to see the stream grow, you gotta let people know. I appreciate that people have been talking about the stream, and I appreciate it. It helps us out, and it's just a really cool thing that you can do, and it's really rad that you guys have been doing that. So, yeah. Tell people about the stream. I won't. And as always, a huge thank you to Mo Shrimp and all of our supporters on Patreon and Twitch. Your generosity allows us to continue to expand the stream as well as take on more projects, and the stream would not be made possible without viewers like you. So we thank you. If you want to see your name added to this list, as well as a couple of the benefits you could get, you could always subscribe directly on Twitch or check out the Patreon page here. It'll show you everything that you can get, and any amount is always appreciated. Once again, thank you. And thank you to Amounts who do a wonderful job of holding back the robot army friend and becoming famous. Thank you everybody for coming and hanging out. Had a great time. I'm glad this is done. We're moving on to something else. I'm gonna do something else. I don't know what yet, but we're gonna do something else after this. So let me get you through housekeeping and get you on your way. Check out the rest of my friends in Goblin Entertainment. That Linktree has links to everyone's channels and everything that they've done and they've been up to, and my own Linktree here, which has everything that I post to, such as a VOD channel for the Twitch, as well as the YouTube for my own videos, an ArtStation for my art, a SoundCloud for my music, and much, much more. So go check everybody out. Goblin Entertainment. Alright, stick around. We're going to say hi to Dr. Cooter. He's a good guy. He's doing some shiny hunting, I think. So everybody go say hi to him. He's a friend of John, a friend of mine. He's a good guy, and apparently he'll take your knees. He likes me enough that he'll take your knees if you don't like me. So go say hi to Dr. Cooter. Otherwise, have a good evening. Take it easy. Remember, you want the real Velociraptor, you want Utahraptor. Now, I like that this... What? Whoa, I tried to change it, though. Why does Utahraptor not just coexist with the other Dromaeosaurs? Why not? I like that they gave them all fins. Ugh, what is this creature? Why is this creature flying? What is this creature's? What is that creature? Now this is incredible. I like that the dinosaurs are confused. You think that the dinosaurs had the capacity to show such intellect? Probably. We'll never know. Probably. I would have eaten one.